Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to my channel, Bookables. Today I'm filming in front of my shelf. I feel like I haven't done this in so many months because it's a huge setup to do this. I have to have like 5 lights and it's a little bit of a ridiculous setup, but now I have a little bit more time since it's school season and all, so I thought, hey, break out my favorite background, which is my fall background, and film in front of it. So that is exactly what I'm doing. So today is a book haul. I haven't done one of these in a few months as well, so I have a lot of books to talk about. I bought a lot of books and I have quite a big stack of books that I received from publishers. So enough rambling, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the books I bought because I did buy a fair few, so let's get into those. This recent read, I literally just finished this yesterday, and that is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This is her newest This is her newest book. She is a mystery thriller author. This is about a character named Daisy Darker who she goes to her Nana's house called Sea Glass for her 80th birthday, and all of her sisters and her mom and dad get together, and basically it's very reminiscent of Agatha Christie's and Then There Was None. If you know the story of that book, you can pretty much guess this one. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very good like kind of nod to that book, so I loved it. In case you want kind of like a darker, more atmospheric read for the fall, this is a perfect one. Then, speaking of another recent read, I have The Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Madana. Dana, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I read this one on eARC and I loved it so much I had to buy it. Again, this is very much fall. This one, I would say, if you really loved The House by the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, you will really love this one. They are very similar. This one follows a character named Micah, I think, and she's a witch, and with being a witch, you have to kind of live your life in secret. You can't tell other people that you're a witch. You can't really conversate with other witches, but basically in this book, Micah gets a letter like, please help these 3 young witches to learn how to control their power. And she knows she shouldn't do it, but she goes to this house called Nowhere House, and she falls in love with these 3 little girls and teaches them how to be witches. And she also falls in love with the librarian there. And it is just a heartwarming book that is just so adorable. It's very fallish because it's set in the fall and kind of winter, and it's all about witches. So it's a great fall read, and I just all of the heartstrings for this book, all of them. In the fall, I purchased 3 books, particularly for a vlog that I'm going to do this month because I wanted to do a seasonal vlog. The main one I bought for it was The Cafe Between Pumpkin and Pie by Kate Angle, Stacey Finns, and Maria Adger. And this is actually part of a series, and I have the first book. I should actually be displaying it because I love the series so much. I bought this one a couple years ago at Target because the cover, it's called The Bake Shove of Pumpkin and Spice. There's 3 books in this series, actually. I need to buy the 3rd one. They're all takes place in this small town called Moonbright, Maine, and it's short stories that are fallish, you know, kind of romancy. They're cheesy. Are they the best written? No, but goodness me, if you love fall, this series is a great one to read. So I plan to read that one for that vlog, especially also The Late Bloomers Club by Louise Miller, who also wrote The City Baker's Guide to Country Living, another book I really enjoy. This one's about a girl named Nora who owns this diner, who she makes apple cider donuts, coffee, and eggs, and basically I think they want to sell her diner, I want to say, but either way, I've heard it's very fallish. It could be wrong, it could be springish, but either way, I just decided to maybe try to read it for fall. And the last one is The Simplicity of Cider by Amy E. Reichart. This one is about a character named Santa who owns this apple orchard, I think, and she meets a single dad Isaac, and so I think that's what it's about. So I figured these 3 are just very kind of fall romancy, so I'm going to do a whole reading vlog here soon where I read all of them. Hopefully I'll enjoy them. And then I also bought Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. I have already read this and I kind of regret purchasing it because I didn't love it. This is a mystery thriller about a horror movie being made, and it sounds really interesting because she writes very interesting plots. I'll give her that, but the execution of this one kind of fell flat for me. I didn't love the way it ended. It could have been so much more, but it wasn't. But I do love the cover. It was very much fallish. If you like isolation books, maybe check this one out because it's like set in the middle of nowhere because they're filming a horror movie in the woods, but they just could have went more with that, and they just didn't. I did a whole reading vlog where I read like this book and another book by this author called The Nothing Man, and I did prefer that one more. She'll probably purchase that one, but here we are. And the last book I bought is This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. This is a time travel book. It's about a girl named Alice who not happy with her life, and her father's ailing, who's the single parent who raised her. And then she wakes up in the morning and finds herself back in 1996, reliving her 16th birthday. And basically, I think it's just her getting in touch with her dad again and things like that. I bought this because it sounded really cool. I didn't know it was necessarily about her father, and I don't talk about my personal life a lot here because it's just, I'm very private in that matter, but I'm dealing a lot with my father right now with caretaking and things like that, and this is just a little too close to home for me. I don't have a very good relationship with my dad, as she probably does in this book, so it's kind of, you know, it's hard. But those are the books I bought. I bought a good fair few. But rest assured, I have an insane stack I got from publishers. I have a huge stack from Berkeley that I was not expecting. So I know what some of them are about, most of them I don't, so I'm going to go through them quickly. First up is Do You Take This Man by Denise Williams. I've read one of her books before. This is about an event planner and a wedding officiant begin an enemies to benefits arrangement as a wedding bells chime. So there you go. I think that's all I need to know about this book. She writes kind of steamier romances, so I will definitely be reading this. When? I don't know. I never really do. Then we have the newest book by Jane Agaro, Where We End and Begin, which is on my radar for this year. This is star-crossed lovers get a second chance at romance when they're reunited at a wedding. I think they're reunited in Nigeria. Yeah, I read one other book by her and have really enjoyed it, so I definitely plan to read that one. And the other ones I don't know much about. So we have Lucy on the Wild Side by Carrie Ray. There's a gorilla right there. I just realized this is a zookeeper always on the fringe, learns to go after her wildest dreams, including a certain television star. Oh, okay. That sounds really cute. I might have to check that one out. I haven't heard much about it. We have a new book by Jasmine Gilroy, Drunk on Love. This one is about a character named Margaret? I don't know. She runs a winery with her brother, and then enter Luke, who is a stranger. Okay. Basically, it's set in the backdrop of Napa Valley wine country. That's interesting. I don't have the best relationship with Jane Agaro's books. Or no, I don't have the best relationship with Jasmine Gilroy books, so we'll see. We have a sequel, I believe, Barbarian Mind by Ruby Dixon. This is part of her The Ice Planet Barbarians. I don't know what number, the 4th novel. I haven't read any of them, but basically they take place in another planet. I think humans fall in love with aliens or something like that. I don't know. I've heard they're very, very steamy, like erotic probably, so there's that. Last two I really truly know nothing about. Sweetwater and the Witch by Jane Castle. This one seems to be like a fantasy novel. Welcome to the world of harmony, where despite its name things are anything but harmonious. I don't know much about this. I don't know. And then Stacey Abrams' Rules of Engagement. I don't know much about this. Love is a Game of Chance, this romantic suspense novel. Okay. So this one's like a romance, but a romantic suspense novel, obviously, which I don't read much of. I need to. But either way, Berkeley, thank you so, so much. Then I have one from St. Martin's Press, a finished copy of The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, which I have read. It's cute. Would I recommend it? I don't know. This is basically about a woman that's a bodyguard. Like, she is like Buffy pretty much, and she has to protect this TV star, only he does not want his family to know that he's being bodyguarded, because he's, you know, so they have to fake a relationship while her being his bodyguard, and it's like set in Texas. You can get the gist of that. It was cute. With Catherine Center's books, I've read one of hers that I've loved, and the other ones I've read are just kind of okay, so take with that what you will. Then I have another one. Oh, then I have another one from Berkeley. I just realized. You're Invited by Amanda Justisa. This is a mystery thriller about a woman who gets invited to like her ex-best friend's wedding. I think it takes place. Where does it take place at? In Sri Lanka. And she's like, wow, my ex-best friend sent me an invitation to her wedding. Like, that's amazing. And so she goes there only to realize that her ex-best friend is marrying like her ex-boyfriend. And so she's like, crap. So she decides to like break up this wedding at all cost, only the bride goes missing. So it's a dun 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 type of book, and it sounds really interesting. I probably should have read it in summer because it looks kind of summery, especially set in Sri Lanka with tropical trees and things like that, but maybe I'll read it this fall. Then from Source Books, I have The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, another book I have read. This is about a character named, what is her name again? I forget, Shay, who, her and her best friend escaped this sex cult in college, and they vowed to like never go back to this college or state of New York again, to never talk about it again. And so years later, Shay is living it up as a housewife in Texas, and she hears that her best friend is dead. and she's found dead at the college that they said they would never go back to. So Shay decides to investigate this, along with a podcast host that's going into further into this, who also she went to high school with. Basically, she investigates her best friend's death, and she gets back into kind of this world of kind of cults, and she has to realize some things about herself. And it is a very, very dark book. Like, it is very cultish, very like women against men, where women should know their place. It's got like, it's an intense dark book. I would say don't read this unless you're fully ready to, because even I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is dark. So just, it's not like gore or anything like that, really. It's more psychological kind of dark, if you get what I'm saying. It was very good, but very dark. So just so you know. You know what? I got some more from Berkeley. I love Berkeley. Two of these I have read. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This is her next book in her STEM series, where she writes women in STEM, which is great. This is about a character named Bee who gets a job at NASA leading this project, and she's really excited, but her co-lead is actually Levi, who hates her. So they have to kind of navigate this relationship of hate to love. You can get the gist of it. I really enjoyed it. I do feel kind of stupid reading her books because they're women in science-y and they talk a lot of science jargon, and I am horrible with science, but I really enjoyed the series. And the other book I read they sent me was Just Another Love Song by Carrie Winfrey. If you just want kind of not so steamy, more kind of cutesy lovey-dovey stories, this is a great one. This is about two characters named Sandy and Hank, who were high school sweethearts in this really small town. They had big dreams of leaving the town, and basically Hank did, Sandy did, and Hank went on to be this really big country star, and now he's back in the small town, and him and Sandy are kind of confronting their past. It was cute. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but it was cute. And the other one they sent me that I need to read is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. This is about a character named Phoebe, who her father passes away, so she has to clean out his house. So she goes to live in his house, and she thinks that his really like cutesy neighbor could be also a serial killer, because she's also doing like her thesis on serial killers, if you will. I started reading this. I couldn't get much into it because, again, it's got that kind of father-daughter relationship, and I'm really struggling with that in my personal life, and I don't want to read about that right now. Does that make any sense? You get what I'm saying. If you've been there, you've been there. So I haven't read it yet. I don't know when I'll read it, because I don't know when I'll be ready to dive into that again, but I do want to read it. Plus, this cover is like, I love it. Then I have my only YA book in this, and that is A Wilderness of Stars by Shay Earnshaw. I will definitely read this. I don't read like any YA books anymore. I've read, I think, a grand total of one this year, but I love Shay Earnshaw's books. They're just so atmospheric. They're so just perfect to read for fall. And this one, I know it's about a girl named Vega, who I think is like a witch. I think that's like, she's also really into stars and things like that. So she's on the run from men hunting her. They search the cure of the stars speak of. But as the lines up between friend and protector begin to blur, Vega must decide whether to safeguard the sacred knowledge of an astronomer, or if she will risk everything to try to save them all. So I don't know. I'm a sucker for Shay Earnshaw books. Like, I love them. Then we have The Book Haters Club by Gretchen Anthony. This one I don't know anything about. It was about Elliot, who is the owner of Over the Rainbow Bookshop, and then he passed away. He always had the perfect suggestion for the self-proclaimed book hater. Now his grief-ridden business partner, Irma, has agreed to sell the cozy shop, but others won't give on the bookshop without a fight. And so when she breaks the news to her daughters, they are really upset about it. I think basically they're trying to shave the shop. So that's really awesome. I love books about bookstores, so I will have to check that one out. Then I have a few, I believe, from Harlequin. This is A Summer in Sonoma, and this is about four best friends who are about to turn 30, and they have to like kind of recalibrate their lives. They go to like Napa Valley to do so. And then I have a Susan Mallory book, which, surprise, I have not yet read a Susan Mallory book. It's called The Boardwalk Bookshop. And it's basically about a charming space. The Boardwalk Bookshop is born. Another book about bookshops. What do you know? This one I probably should have read in summer because of the cover, but you win some, you lose some. And A Proposal They Cannot Refuse by Natalie Canna is about two characters that basically kind of want to save their family businesses, and their families are like, that's great, but you have to be engaged to do so, or you're going to lose the business completely. So they have to fake an engagement, if you will. She like has a restaurant, he has a distillery, I believe, and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm very excited to read it. And the last book I have, I don't know if it's I'm pretty sure it's a YA book. It's called The Witch Hunt by Sasha Payton Smith. All magic comes with a cost. I guess it's another witch book about a character named Franson who goes to Haxhaven Academy. So I think it's like a witch academy, which sounds awesome. But I don't know much about it because I have been so out of the loop of YA books. Either way, those are all the books I have for my book haul for you today. A lot. I am happy to say a lot of these I have read, and a lot of them I plan to read very, very soon. So hopefully not a lot will be added to my TBR cart right here, but we'll have to see. If you've heard of any of these books, please let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.